Despite the fact that it's just the preseason and these games ultimately don't count, there ain't nothing wrong with staying undefeated in the preseason. These are positive vibes. These are good times. Players are establishing themselves. Look, winning, just the energy that comes from that, it's a beautiful thing. And the Golden State Warriors are doing just that right now. We're going to break down what went right, a couple things that might have gone wrong. It's a nitpick, but overall, 111-93 the final. The Warriors now 4-0 in the preseason, and we're going to break it all down next. Welcome to a Sunday night edition of Golden Days.
They always find something to nitpick, and that's because there's expectations for us to win. It was a pretty crazy night.
Let's go!
In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up. Come on and break me off. 'Cause I get what I want and I like what I see. If you got
Oh, you know what that music means. Premium approach in the chat. It's Tia. Welcome to the Golden Days. I'm your host, Cyrus Saatsaz. You can follow me on Threads and Instagram at DogWild. Super easy. I'm also over on Twitter at Surf Journalist, and the program is on all social media platforms at Golden Days Pod. Super easy, I hope, for each and every one of you. Today's episode, before we get to the breakdown, to the nitty-gritty of yet another Golden State Warriors victory, first and foremost, let's give some love to the official sponsor of the Golden Days, and that's BetOnline. And even before we get to that, real fast, while I have your attention for a moment, if you want to be a part of this program officially, in terms of a sponsorship, in terms of a partnership, phone lines are open, figuratively speaking. It's actually emails that are open right now. You can find it, shoot an email if you're interested in partnering up with us. The rates are incredibly reasonable. We follow a formula that rewards both parties, and the formula is the standard for the entire industry as a whole. Point is, come be a part of the party. Come join the show. Let's partner up. Let's both of us have a mutually beneficial relationship. Email right there, warriors24pod@gmail.com. Again, warriors24pod@gmail.com if you're interested in being a sponsor of the program. We haven't even gotten into the regular season yet, and already the energy is blowing up. Interest is growing. The audience, I can just feel the excitement that's brewing from a season opener that's coming in just a week and a half. Join the party. Be a part of this great thing and get the same love that I give to the current official sponsor of Golden Days, and that's BetOnline, the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything sports betting, every stat, matchup breakdown, even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games, with the largest catalog of odds on everything from football, Major League Baseball playoffs, NHL, NBA, even political props. BetOnline's got it. And when the game's over, head on over to the online casino. Kick back, relax, and create that casino ambiance, which makes you feel amazing, and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering, BetOnline. The game starts here. What's going on in the chat before we get into this? I saw Damian LaRoche, who's out saying you're in love with Lindy Waters, who actually got an early run in tonight's game. We'll talk about that. Moses Moody, yet again, leading the team in scoring, started the game tonight and delivered a touch of madness. Hello, you're saying Brandon Pajemski, who got knocked out of this game, getting smacked in the face, had played well, had a great game. We'll obviously talk about Pods, who also started. And Damian LaRoche doing a little sales pitch on behalf of Golden Days. Thank you. Damian LaRoche is an official Golden Dazer, where his comments are automatically featured for every live show. It actually highlights his comments, so I can't miss it. And besides that, if I get big guests, which happens regularly, case in point, Mark Spears, Hall of Famer, ESPN writer, is going to join the show this upcoming week. For big interviews like that, you get access to it 12 to 24 hours before everyone else. The point is, it's $2.99, or as Damon LaRoche in the chat writes, it's just 10 cents a day. And we're running a business here. I never feel good soliciting for money, but that is the operation. We're a business. So thank you, brother. And adding to that for 5 days of content, that's a deal. Thank you. Nick Fensky, my good friend, writing, what an entertaining game. A lot to be happy about. Absolutely. Alvis Joubert in the chat. Giving some props. Thank you, brother. Thank you very much. Joe in the chat saying the roster is packed with shooters. You're absolutely right. Here's a crazy thing, because you write in the chat, Clay Who. In hindsight, which I know it's always easier to discuss things after they've happened, but we talk a lot about Klay Thompson leaving, and essentially it was like a 3-for-1 package where we lost Klay. When I say we, I mean the Warriors fan base. The Golden State Warriors lost Klay Thompson, but they got DeAnthony Melton, Kyle Anderson, and Buddy Hield in free agency. And in hindsight, I would take Buddy Hield straight up for Klay at this point. I would have taken DeAnthony Melton straight up for Klay at this point. Kyle Anderson might be a wash. I mean, I'm not dismissing his contribution so far. Again, it's just the preseason. But, dude, these free agent signings are so far so damn good delivering. Ancor Mishra in the chat saying GP2 was not bad today. He was not. He slid down to the rotation a little bit. We saw him in one of those hockey-style substitutions that Steve Kerr has been applying this preseason, where you bring in entirely new 5-man rotations to replace the 5 that are out there on the court, and GP2 was part of that second unit. I believe that came in, but he did play good. I don't disagree with you there. And Tim, yeah, I agree. Mark Spears is big time. Thank you, sir, for the kind compliment. And AP Prep Boy adding that all 3 of those contracts, DeAnthony Melton, Buddy Hield, and Kyle Anderson, movable in deals if needed in January. You're absolutely right. At the moment, let's get into real fast again. And this is where, if you're a Golden Dazer, you have my attention. For every comment, every post that you put in there, Damian LaRoche in the chat writing, Buddy Hield alone better than Klay. Buddy Hield, his ball handling surprised me a little bit. His defense is surprising me a little bit. So far, so damn good. Incredibly pleased. Justin Randy. Here's a funny thing, and every now and again these hateful morons slip into the chat. And I don't know if it's even smart to address it, but I don't want to give the impression that I'm hiding from these fools. Writing that I tried to insinuate that Andrew Wiggins was on drugs. First of all, by you writing that, you're moronically bringing attention to these things. Secondly, I never said that. And third, it was one source that said something to me that I said on a show that ultimately we took that down. The reason being is one source told me. They did not tell me that. But again, if you really care about Andrew Wiggins, why bring that up right now? Obviously, that's not your concern. Your concern is trying to get a dig in. And my point is, you don't know if I was wrong. Nothing's been proven otherwise. So if you're trying to like get a shot in, like, hey, you missed on that scoop, how do you know? Has anything come out to say otherwise? That could have been the issue that Wiggins was dealing with that I did talk about on that one show. Could have been one of many things. You have no idea. So don't sit here and talk like you know shit, Jack, because you don't. And nice try trying to get a little dig in there, but not only were you wrong, but you're the one raising awareness for something that I didn't bring up. I did not say that specifically. So you're an idiot, man. And I will just leave it at that. Han Solo Dolo saying Quentin Post is butt cheeks. This team would have been complete with Brandon Carlson. Yeah, Quentin Post, we'll talk about him as well. Hit his first 3 of the NBA. Had his first airball 3 of the NBA. Damian LaRoche adding that if Looney was off the floor, we would have been good. So anyways, I digress. Let's get into the game itself, which again was awesome. Slow start for the Warriors though. First of all, Stephen Curry was held out. Draymond Green was held out. Look, it's a preseason. Stephen Curry has like a jammed finger. That would not have kept him out. He did have a bandage on that finger, but X-rays were negative. It's just a jam. It's just a sprain. Nonetheless, again, it's the preseason. There's no good reason to put on extra miles on Stephen Curry and Draymond Green's wheels. Wholeheartedly unnecessary. They don't need the extra reps. So we had a starting lineup tonight, yet another different starting lineup. But this one was intriguing. This one was awesome. And the starting lineup featured Brandon Pajemski, DeAnthony Melton, Moses Moody at the 3, Jonathan Kuminga at the 4, and then Trayce Jackson-Davis at the 5. I love it. DeAnthony Melton is incredibly mature. He looks and acts older than he is. I had to look it up again because I'd forgotten just how old he is. DeAnthony Melton is only 26, and he just turned 26 in May. If you had told me he's 34, I would have believed it. And I know that's an insult to DeAnthony. I apologize for that. But part of it is just his demeanor and the way he acts. He plays like a seasoned veteran. Dude's only 26. And the reason why I bring that up is because those 5 that you saw on the court with the starting 5 of the Warriors throughout there tonight, those 5 could be a part of this thing for the next 10 years, minimum. I mean, DeAnthony Melton in 10 years is 36, but Trayce Jackson-Davis will be, 34? Kuminga will be 32. Moody will be 32. Brandon Pajemski will be 31. The point is, what we saw out there starting for the Warriors tonight, that could be just the beginning of many things to come. And it was beautiful. The 4 who have been with the Warriors from the start, the draft picks, Kuminga, Moody, Trayce Jackson-Davis, Brandon Pajemski, they're already showing a chemistry that I normally see from players who have been together for like 5-10 years. They've only been together for a year plus, at least the 4 of them. Kuminga and Moody have been playing together now this is entering year 4. But they play like a seasoned unit who's been together for, again, 5 years, 10 years. There is something very special with those 4. The 2 games ago, I believe I mentioned a lineup that had those 4 in it with Buddy Hield and not DeAnthony Melton, and they were playing some fantastic basketball. Tonight, it was DeAnthony Melton who took that spot alongside those other 4, and it still looked good. The Warriors did start off in this game slow. They faced an early deficit. The Detroit Pistons came out wanting to win. They were treating this game like a regular season game, but where they quickly fell apart, and the Warriors, again, revealing what is quickly becoming a massive strength for this team. The added strength in numbers back in full force. When the Warriors are doing these hockey-style substitutions where they're bringing 5 new players in who are almost, if not just as good as the 5 that were just on the court, and then the Detroit Pistons are matching that with Tim Hardaway Jr. He's good. He's a veteran, but he's not great. If he was a great player, Dallas would not have just thrown him away and moved on quickly. The Pistons respond with Isaiah Stewart, who Trayce Jackson-Davis was schooling tonight. And they just couldn't match up. And this is what the depth of the Warriors is going to do this year. It's going to cause a lot of problems for a lot of different teams because individuals do wear down. You do need to step out of these games every once in a while. I mean, we're not talking about the playoffs where you see LeBron playing all 48 minutes. Those are anomalies. And in the regular season, you rarely, if ever, see those 48-minute type performances. Players need timeouts and breathers to stay fresh on the court. And when you're a team like the Warriors and your entire bench is loaded with NBA talent that is not just, on an NBA roster, but has every right in business playing on the court, dude, these Warriors are going to cause problems for people. And the Pistons got run off. They could not keep up with that depth, and it ended fast for them. It ended very fast for them. I mentioned a moment ago for the Golden State Warriors, Moses Moody had 14 points in this game to lead all scorers, but the Warriors had 6 players scoring in double figures tonight. Moses Moody again with the 14, Jonathan Kuminga with 12, and Kuminga, by his own standards, not the greatest night for him. And statistically, it's not going to reveal that. His shot was falling. He only got, I think, 2 rebounds in this game. But he also looked a little uncomfortable, I thought, playing the 4. He's admitted that the power forward position is not his natural position. He prefers playing the 3. And by playing the 4 tonight, he was matched up oftentimes with a bigger opponent in Tobias Harris, who's a seasoned veteran, who's one of the game's better scorers. So Kuminga had some difficulties there at times. Again, by his standards, he still looked great. And finished the game again with 12 points, which was tied for third on the team in leading scores. But the three-point shot, clearly the highlight of Jonathan Kuminga. In this game, he's not hesitating. He's not thinking. He looks like the shooter that is an excellent high volume, high percentage type three-point shooter. The guy looks natural shooting the three. And again, I've always given him his due for his shooting form. I think his shooting form is borderline perfect. Resembles very much Jimmy Chitwood, the fictional character in the movie Hoosiers. The elbows is just almost like a perfect 90 degrees to the ground. It's almost like a slingshot, one of those old school slingshots, the huge ones you see in wars. They go clunk, clunk, and they launch like cannonballs. Dude, he's got perfect form, and the form itself, the shot itself, has gotten faster. Where the release is getting out of his hands in a split second, just like what Steve Kerr's wanted. And we're continuing to see this excellent three-point shot from Kuminga. He was 3 of 5 from deep tonight. That's insane. And I think he made his first 3. Don't quote me on that, but I believe he was started a perfect 3 of 3 before missing the final 2. Again, don't quote me on that. I might have that part of it wrong, but he was 3 of 5 in this game. And I want to see real fast. I'm trying to find his preseason total so far in terms of what his three-point shooting is so far on the preseason as a whole, because he's just, I mean, every game, if my memory serves correct, he's shot over 50% from deep. And of course, naturally, when I want total preseason numbers, of course, I cannot find them, which is driving me insane. I'm going to try to look for one more second here, and if I can't find it, I am going to move on. Regular season. Oh, no, I cannot find it. Oh, whatever. The point, I'll find that for another show. I'm going to be back on the air tomorrow with Sophia Jones at 3 p.m. We're going to talk about this number a lot more. The point is, though, Jonathan Kuminga, 3 of 5 from deep. He's been shooting the ball at an insanely high clip this preseason, and it's a beautiful thing. I don't like if Kuminga can keep this up in terms of the three-point shot and make this a permanent aspect of his game. He's set. He's going to get his paycheck. He's going to be a 25 points a game scorer. He's going to be a menace. This is and the next phase of the Golden State Warriors is in place. The transition from the Stephen Curry era to the Kuminga Pods, Moody, Trayce Jackson-Davis era. DeAnthony Melton could be in that group as well. If Kuminga can make this a permanent thing, so far so damn good, DubNation. You have every right to be excited about this. And again, the rebounding numbers. Oh, he only had 2 rebounds in this game, which wasn't a big deal because Trayce Jackson-Davis was an absolute beast inside, and we'll talk about him in just a minute. Well, actually, real fast, while I'm on Trayce Jackson-Davis, who was quite possibly the player of this game. 12 points in this game, 10 rebounds in this game. He led the team in field goal percentage last year, and tonight was one of the reasons why he did so. He was 6 of 7 from the field. There was one particular play. There was quite a few, but there was one sequence where he played outstanding defense on Jalen Duren, who, side note, is now my dream center for the Warriors. Like, if that dude is somehow ever available in a trade, please get him. Like, Jalen Duren is going to be a beast of a player in this game Sunday. Tonight we watched him starting year 3, and he could be something. I was just picturing him in a Warriors jersey almost the entire time I was watching. Anyway, so I digress. But Trayce Jackson-Davis played great defense on Duren, forced a missed shot, grabbed a really tough rebound, and then kicked it out to Podziemski, who then hit a 3. It was a beautiful sequence. I posted the video clip of that on my Threads account if you want to see that. I wonder if I should have started playing highlights on the show, because I believe YouTube does not flag it. I know other shows are abuse the NBA's copyright. Let's see if I can get away with this. Here's the play. And again, I apologize for the YouTube viewers because you're not going to be able to see this. But this is the play that I was talking about, where Trayce Jackson-Davis's defense led to Podziemski's offense, and it was beautiful. Let's see if I get flagged for this. I'm risking money, but it'll be a good examination, and at a minimum, we can see this awesome play.
Trayce Jackson-Davis. He sent Tobias away, sent Turin away twice. TJD with 2 blocks, Pajemski 3, and he got it. And that's what you're looking for all season.
Hell yeah.
Reward that big-time defensive effort. Nothing easy inside.
And that was absolutely the sequence of the game. And just an example of how spectacular this was. By the way, I'm curious if I can start playing highlights. I see all these other people just totally breaking the rules and the law doing so, but the NBA doesn't seem to be punitive about it. So maybe I'll start playing some highlights more often on the show. But anyway, so fantastic outing from Trayce Jackson-Davis. Held the zone on the inside. Again, 12 points, 10 rebounds, a double-double for the team's expected starter at the center position. Added 3 assists in this game as well. Oh, yeah, he also added 3 blocks in this game as well. Absolutely fantastic. Brandon Pajemski, as someone mentioned in the chat earlier, great night for him. 12 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Had a bit of a slow start to this game. I felt like he was forcing things early on, missed a couple of short-range buckets. I believe he missed a layup, and then he settled down, and then everything was smooth after that. He did get smacked in the face, I believe in the third quarter, and went to the locker room. They checked him out. No broken bones. He came back out. He seems to be okay. So Brandon Pajemski also drew a charge in this game, led the NBA in that category last year. Great outing for him. DeAnthony Melton, the stat sheet does not represent his contributions. Again, he did start in this game, played 23 minutes, was just 2 of 11 from the field, was just 1 of 4 from deep. But while his shot was not falling, other aspects of this game totally picked up. He had 7 assists in this game, 4 rebounds in this game. So the 5 points, not great, but he did make up for that with stellar defense. His perimeter D is fantastic. I'm going to run out of adjectives and verbs to use here. Sorry if I start becoming redundant. Just so much good shit happening with the Warriors. My Lord. Finishing up the double-digit scores real fast. Coming off the bench, Buddy Hield, who's shot. My God, man. I mean, I'm speechless. I don't know what to say about just how explosive this Warriors offense is. Buddy Hield is like well deep into the bench. He comes into this game as part of this hockey substitution, goes 4 of 6 from beyond the arc. He was a plus 11 in net rating, finished the game with 12 points. And as we mentioned earlier, his ball handling is better than I expected. I feel like if you need him to play the point, he could hold his own. I'm not saying let's do that, but he's a good ball handler is what I'm trying to say. And even defensively, which was a huge flag for Buddy Hield when he was first signed. He has not been known in his career for being an excellent defender. But again, this is where team defense, Rick Barry hammers this point home, that regardless of how good or bad of a defender, an individual defender you are, if you buy into the system, if you play with the team in terms of team defense, where everyone is on a string, where everyone is having each other's back, you can still excel, even if individually you don't have a reputation or you're not known for being a good defender. And Buddy Hield so far, again, it's just the preseason. I should calm myself down, but it's all looking so damn good. This is beyond my wildest expectations so far, 4 games in. So Buddy Hield finishing with 12 points. And then Lindy Waters III, who came into this game, if I have it in my notes here, because he came in much earlier than he has been the last 2 games. And let me see if I have in my notes what time he actually came into the game. I don't know, but it was early. It was like I think he came in with that second unit. Maybe someone in the chat knows exactly when he came in. The point is, it was a lot sooner than the previous 2 games, where before he was coming in like the third quarter, sometimes the fourth. He was brought in with the second unit, held his own. Lindy Waters looks like he belongs. And Damian LaRoche, I saw your chat there about Andrew Wiggins. I'm going to get to that in just a second, because this is a potential massive conundrum that's arising for the Golden State Warriors. What are you going to do with Wiggins? How much patience will you have with him if he doesn't gel with everyone else? Because so far, this team is looking damn good. Why mess with that, right? But we shall see, and I'll talk more on that in just a second. But Lindy Waters, I just want to read off his stat sheet for tonight. Second on the team in scoring, again with 13 points, led the team in net rating with a plus 22. When Lindy Waters was on the court and Kyle Anderson and him were on the court together for a lot of that. Kyle Anderson, I bring him up because he was a plus 21 in net rating. Those are your two leaders for the night for the Warriors in terms of net rating leaders. A plus 22, 13 points, second on the team in scoring. He was 3 of 4 from beyond the arc. This guy can shoot. There was one corner three that really stuck out to me, but again, 3 of 4, 75% of his 3-point shots fell. He had 3 free throw attempts, made 2 of them. He added 7 rebounds in this game and no turnovers. No turnovers. The Golden State Warriors tonight collectively had 20 turnovers in this game. But Lindy Waters is now responsible for a single one of those. So absolutely fantastic night for Lindy Waters. And a couple other players real fast to point out. Let me actually get back to the chat real fast. I want to see what people are saying and what's going on. Damian LaRoche writing, I'd give Wiggins away and add a first rounder just to get rid of him. If there is any possibility of trading Wiggins to Detroit, throw in Looney, throw in GP2, get back Jalen Duren, I would be happy, but obviously that's not going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen when Wiggins returns. Again, he did not play tonight, still recovering from the illness. It would surprise me if he did not show up the next game, because if he's planning on playing this year, he's got to start building up his endurance. He's got to, and NBA athletes, the best way they improve their conditioning is with in-game play. So Wiggins has got to get back on that court. And we also just need to see, when I say we, besides us, the coaching staff has to see just what kind of fit Wiggins is going to be and what version of him they're going to get. Very curious. Shane West adding, trade Wiggins for someone with passion. I agree. I absolutely agree. And then Damian LaRoche. Oh, dude, with an additional contribution, brother. Thank you, man. Saying 5 ducats for a 5-0 start and for a kiss to the heavens by Quentin Post, which was glorious. That Quentin Post hit his first 3-pointer of his NBA career. It's the preseason, but thankfully he finally hit one. Now he did airball the very next one, unfortunately. But what Damian LaRoche is referring to is that Quentin Post, when he hit the 3, he did kind of like a kiss of the sky type thing, and it was beautiful to watch. I think we're all rooting for Quentin Post to be him, to be someone who belongs in the NBA. Chris Runnion's in the chat, saying if Wiggins cannot work with this system, then we still hold the second portion of the season trade, like when we got GP2 back. Yeah, they can still trade him at any point. You're absolutely right about that. Yeah. And then Gamer F2P bringing up Wiggins' defense, which was one of the there's a couple positives he brought to the table last year. There were 3 more specifically. First of all, his 3-point shot in the second half of the season was good. He was hitting a lot of 3-point shots. Let's hope he can continue that. As Gamer F2P mentioned, and on that note, let me real fast here also post the link in the chat just in case any one of you folks would like to join me tonight and talk about the Warriors and throw your 2 cents in. But as you mentioned, his 3-point shot was excellent last year. I'm sorry, as you mentioned, his defense is one of the best on this team. Last year, I don't know what the team would have done without his defense. It was important for the Warriors in that respect. I don't know what my dog's barking about. I apologize. So, anyways, yeah, I'm with you, man. It's going to be a very curious, very fascinating thing. And there was a third thing I was going to say about Wiggins, and then my dog distracted me. I apologize for that. Damian LaRoche, and this is where it will be a problem. You are absolutely right, writing that if he plays 30 minutes a game, that's a problem. I wholeheartedly agree. I also don't know who's going to lose minutes. We saw a great game tonight from a lot of players with Steph and Draymond out. If Steph and Dre were playing, who would have lost minutes, right? Probably would have been Lindy Waters. I don't know if my opinion is popular in saying this, but GP2 seems to be the odd man out so far. I just don't see the 2022 version. Even now, he looks healthy, which is good. But I'm not seeing like the lockdown defense. I'm not seeing the lob thread. Now, Gary Payton II did hit a 3-pointer tonight, which was a good sign. That was a good thing. And GB2 stat line real fast. Just to summarize, he played 15 minutes in this game, was 2 of 3 from the field, hit that corner 3, his first 3-pointer made this preseason, missed one as well. So he hit 50% of his 3-pointers, had 3 rebounds, but he was a plus 17, which symbolizes just how dominant that second unit was. The second unit was, if I'm not mistaken, it was GP2, Kyle Anderson, Kevon Looney, Buddy Hield, and Lindy Waters the second. And right, was that it? Yeah, and they kicked ass. I mean, there's no way to spin that. Their net rating, GP2 plus 17, Kyle Anderson plus 21, Kevon Looney, who had a very nice mid-range shot in this game tonight. He was a plus 13. Looney had 8 points, 3 rebounds. Looney seems to be settling very nicely into that backup center role. I personally don't have a problem with it. Again, defensively, he's a liability. Other players, like, for example, there was a moment in this game where the Pistons' first-round pick from this recent draft got in the game. Raw player, a big player. He has size. And Looney was having a very hard time containing him. I mean, he was just attacking the paint and the rim without punity. It was just no obstacle to him. And the guy's name was let me pull up his name here real fast. Ronald Holland II. This could be someone that a name that becomes very familiar in a short while if he lives up to his top 5 draft pick billing. But yeah, Looney was having a very hard time defending him. And that's the negative. That's just, for whatever reason, he's never been really known for being a great defender, but I don't remember him being like a liability like he is now. And unfortunately, that's where his game is. And Kyle Anderson, again, I sound like a broken record saying this. The stat sheet will rarely, if ever, represent his contribution to a game. Tonight, another example of that, he had 1 field goal attempt, missed that. So he had 2 points, which came from a pair of free throws, had 3 rebounds, had 1 assist, but he was second on the team in net rating with a plus 21. And he came in as the backup power forward. So that was Kyle Anderson's role. Yeah, Damian LaRoche, the second unit, was crushing it. You are absolutely right about that. Patrick Singh, great to see you. I haven't seen you in a while, in the chat, writing that the lineup he would like to see includes Stephen Curry, Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, Draymond Green, and Trayce Jackson-Davis. We are simpatico in that regard. Wholeheartedly agree. That is also my ideal starting 5 for this team. And again, this is where the Wiggins part of it is going to be interesting, because we've seen Steve Kerr play favorites. And, when Wiggins comes back, is he going to be getting, like Damian said in the chat, 30 minutes a game? He's done that. We saw this with Klay Thompson in the play-in game last year. Klay Thompson had no business playing 32 minutes in a game where he was 0 for 10 from the field and playing lousy defense. But that's Kerr's boy. It was his favorite, right? So we shall see. It is one of the very curious aspects of this team and one of the biggest questions that remains is, where is Wiggins going to fit in all this? But we can say this with absolute certainty. We're 4 games into the preseason. The Warriors are 4-0. They look damn effing good. They look damn good. And Moses Moody has to be the star of this preseason so far. When you look at this roster, there's a lot of names to look at, to be excited for, to be positive about. But Moses Moody looks like he's taken a leap. And there might come a time in the near future where one of my favorite sound bites that I like playing on this show might go extinct. It might become irrelevant. Moses Moody, how'd you feel these last 3 years? Not this preseason right now, but how has it felt being Mr. Stay Ready, getting DNPs routinely for no explainable reason?
It sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. And we might have to retire that soon. I hope that happens. We shall see. But Moses Moody has been fantastic this preseason so far. Jonathan Kuminga, again, that 3-point shot. And I wish during a live show I could figure out where his preseason stats are, but I cannot find that right now, and that is okay. I want to play a soundbite real fast. Speaking of Moses Moody, this was actually from a couple days ago, and it represents his maturity, because he was asked about the frustration of the last 3 years, the lack of playing time, how it messed with his head, and his response to these questions. I think there were 2 questions asked during this. Showed a man who is trying to be above it. He's saying the right things. He's understanding that this is a business, that they're all adults, that nobody's going to get handed anything. Has it been fair to Moses Moody? Hell no. But is he taking it in stride and saying the right things and handling it the best way possible? Yeah. And here's Moses Moody talking about that. Again, this was 2 days ago. I believe this was following a practice. I can't remember if this was a post game or the next day following a practice, but nonetheless, here is Moses Moody talking about how difficult it's been the last few years and his business-like approach to this season.
That's my mindset.
What was your main focus coming into camp? Did you have a specific goal, anything that you wanted to get accomplished this year?
Yeah, for sure. I didn't play as much as I wanted to last year, so I obviously wasn't in the place to where I needed to be. So over the summer, like I've been saying, just put a lot of work in on the small things, the details. So I put a lot of work in over the summer. So training camp is your first opportunity to really showcase that work. So that's just my mentality of it. I'm not even necessarily looking for the gratification this early on. You see how it go, but I did the work. So, it'll show.
Did that not starting last year or playing as much as you wanted, did that mess with you mentally at all?
I mean, it would, if anybody doesn't get what they want, then it's going to mess with them to a certain level. But as a grown up going to work, you got to think of it like that. You're not in Pee Wee playing with your friends, getting as much playing time as you want. Like, nah, it's a job. So that's what it's about. Taking that, seeing stuff for what it is, not taking stuff personal, and just, putting your big boy pants up, going to work, seeing the situation. You want to change the situation and change yourself. That's my mindset.
That's it. And that's a good mindset. I mean, I don't know if he could have said that any better. That was perfectly handled. It shows growth. It shows maturity. It shows patience. And so kudos to Moses Moody, who has taken a leap, at least so far. It's what we're seeing from him. Gamer F2P in the chat adding Moses Moody is solid both offensively and defensively. And I want to add to that as well. In the open court, he's really excelling. He's taken a leap in that department on top of everything else. Moody would stay because he will be the next generation Warriors starting 5 with Jonathan Kuminga. You might be right on that. Damian, Joe in the chat bringing up something that I wanted to talk about. I'm glad you touched on this, that Podziemski did struggle a bit tonight in the turnover department. Joe mentioned that he had 5 turnovers in 19 minutes. You're absolutely right. If there is a negative to this game this evening, besides the Warriors having a slow start, the Pistons were in this game for 6 minutes, and then it just was over after that. But 20 turnovers. And when you look at who committed those, Moody, if you want to nitpick and find one negative from his performance tonight, he had 3 of those. And again, I think some of these turnovers came from that early, really aggressive Pistons defense to start this game. The Pistons were playing like a hungry team. They were treating this like it was a regular season outing for 6 minutes, and then it all just went away. And you saw their head coach just losing his mind. I think that he called the timeout in the fourth quarter. Just livid, absolutely just angry over the team's performance and their effort in this one. Anyway, but the turnover battle, or the turnovers that the Warriors had, 3 from Moody, DeAnthony Melton had 3, Podziemski had 5, Kevon Looney had 2 turnovers, Quentin Post in a very brief moment of play, Quentin Post played 6 minutes and 3 seconds. He had 2 turnovers in this game. Kevin Knox, by the way, played 8 minutes in this game, and he looked good. I don't know if he's going to make this team. I don't know if there's a role for him. Jackson Rowe also played 5 minutes. Blake Hinson played 5 minutes, but there was a moment there where Kevin Knox, I thought, played some solid basketball, but I don't know if he's eligible for Santa Cruz. So I don't know what the plan is for him. I don't know what's going to happen with Kevin Knox II, but he's done well in his fill-in time with the Golden State Warriors. But that was the turnover situation for the Dubs tonight, and that was a negative for Brandon Podziemski. He does need to bring that down. Anonymous in the chat wrote that Brandon Podziemski doesn't pass to Kuminga. He only passes to Trayce Jackson-Davis. I haven't noticed that, and I'm someone who pays meticulous attention to those kinds of things, like our players being ignored, our ball handlers missing wide open players. I haven't noticed that myself, and believe me, I've been looking. And Podziemski and Kuminga have a very solid relationship. They hang out and when they're not playing basketball together. That's a great sign, especially for two players that represent the future of the Golden State Warriors. So I'm not saying that you're wrong in seeing that and writing that, but I haven't seen it to the point where I'm concerned, is what I'm trying to say. Joe in the chat writing, let's see how the Warriors can handle the bulk of the Los Angeles Lakers, who is going to be their opponent for the next two preseason games. It's OKC. It's Nikola Jokic. It's the Lakers they need to handle. And you're absolutely right, which is why the first 6 minutes of this game was a little concerning. The Pistons, who, especially with Jalen Duren, again, I want him on the Warriors. Mike Dunleavy Jr., do your thing. Figure it out. Get Jalen Duren on the Warriors. Convince the Pistons that they would win a trade with Andrew Wiggins and Kevon Looney and GP2. Hell, throw in Quentin Post even. Why not? But anyways, I'm totally with you, Joe. The Lakers, that's going to be a test. That's going to be the challenge. Those big front courts and there's just all that size and getting muscled on the interior, and LeBron James just having his way, getting wherever he wants to on the court to put up easy buckets. I'm totally with you. Nick Fensky, thank you for the contribution. Jonathan Kuminga, if Nick Fensky has the stats correct, is through 4 games in the preseason, is 10 of 18 from deep, 56%. Damn. Bravo. So far, so good. An anonymous writing in the chat, Jalen Duren is a future star. Wholeheartedly agree with you. Quiet Nerd in the chat saying, I believe Knox was signed to a 1-year contract. Incorrect. He was signed to a training camp contract. I know there's a news item out there that said it was a 1-year deal, but I don't know why they wrote that. I saw that story as well. It was a training camp deal, nothing guaranteed. The Warriors don't even have the salary cap room to give Kevin Knox a contract. So they'd have to cut either Lindy Waters or Guy Santos if they want to keep Kevin Knox. Did Guy Santos play tonight, by the way? Last game, he had a few good moments. In this game, I don't remember anything noteworthy. He was 1 of 3 from beyond the arc, missed an additional field goal. Besides that, Guy Santos... Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was reading Quentin Post stats. Guy Santos played 7 minutes. I apologize for that. 55 seconds. Had 1 3-point attempt and did not make it. Did grab 2 rebounds. Had an assist. 0 points. So nothing really noteworthy from Guy Santos tonight. Should he be worried about Kevin Knox? I don't think so, but I don't know for certain. Ronald in the chat saying not giving up on Wiggins yet. I hope you're right. I have no negative feelings personally toward Andrew Wiggins. I wish him and the Warriors the best. I hope you're right. But if he continues the regression that we've seen the last 5 years, with 2022 being an obvious exception, my patience has run out is all I'm trying to say in terms of, waiting it out and hoping that Andrew Wiggins, reverts to his old form. I'm done with that. And ATGYY adding Kevin Knox is a great defender. Yeah, so I guess the question then is to you folks out there who like Kevin Knox, would you rather have him than Guy Santos? Or would you rather have him than Lindy Waters? That's the only way they could add him at this point, unless he's somehow eligible for a 2-way deal, which I don't think he is because of the number of years he's played in the NBA. And I don't know if he's eligible for a G League contract either. Those are it. Those are the options. So we shall see what happens with Kevin Knox. Nick Fensky in the chat saying he is not eligible for the G League. So again, it would either be Lindy Waters or Guy Santos being waived in order to make the salary cap room for Kevin Knox. And Damian LaRoche, I'm 1,000% with you. There's no chance in hell I want to give up on Lindy Waters. That might have been a stroke of genius from Mike Dunleavy Jr. We shall see. But yeah, it's awesome. Anything else in the chat? Is there anything that we missed besides a comment from Damian LaRoche is on fire in the chat tonight? And again, if you want your comments to be highlighted, it's $2.99. Be a Golden Dazer. The link is in YouTube. It's very easy to find. I put it in every description. And you'll get my attention as well. And Damian LaRoche writing that Podziemski probably cockblocks Kuminga at the club. Maybe. I don't know. I'm curious to know. Here's what I'll tell you. I'll leak out a little behind the scenes stuff regarding those two players. Based off my personal experience with those two, talking with them behind the scenes, I got to know Podziemski quite well at Media Day. Again, we sat there for like 10, 15 minutes just bullshitting. And I guarantee you this, Brandon Podziemski can spit game. Brandon, I don't know if Jonathan Kuminga can spit game. Jonathan Kuminga would be like the quiet guy who kind of lets the ladies come to him. I'm just picturing the scenario in the club. Brandon Podziemski can spit game. He's got lines. He's got persuasive tactics. He's witty. I'll leave it at that. Anything else? Are we done? Are we good? Next game, Tuesday. We're back before then, though. Finishing up with this. Sophia Jones and I will do a show together. We'll host a show together. We normally host those shows on Tuesdays. Starting this week, we're going to be hosting on Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. It's V for Valkyrie. That's the name of Sophia's segment. And we're obviously going to talk about the Warriors game as well. We'll start the show with that. We'll play some sound from the post-game action that may have come down that we missed tonight. And then Tuesday, Larry Kruger and I are going to be doing a dual stream post-game show, meaning both his show and my show are going to combine and become one show, and we'll handle the post-game action. So Larry Kruger will be with me for Tuesday post-game. I'll be live tomorrow, which is Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific time with Sophia Jones. Until then, we got a soundbite. Let's play this now real fast before we go. Here is Steve Kerr. This is courtesy of the Warriors flagship radio station, 95.7 The Game. And they posted this clip of Steve Kerr. Let's play this now real fast before we go. Talking about Buddy Hield, whose shooting has been exemplary. He is living up to it. Here's Steve Kerr talking about Buddy Hield and probably a whole lot of other stuff. I haven't heard this yet.
Buddy out there when Steph is off the floor. He's shooting 59% from three. Obviously not sustainable, but wondering do you slot him in sort of that six-man spot as a traditional six-man kind of guy?
He looks the part, doesn't he? I mean, he comes off the bench and you can feel his impact immediately. He's not shy, and we need that. We need a scorer off the bench, and he's been fantastic these first four games. So I'm really excited about Buddy, and yeah, that role makes a lot of sense for him.
Look at that. I think that was Sam Gordon, my boy, who asked that question too from the San Francisco Chronicle. Buddy Hield, sixth man. Maybe that's a possibility. I don't hate the idea. I was trying to think like who was penciled in for that role now. We still don't know who the starting shooting guard is going to be. Could be DeAnthony Melton, could be Brandon Podziemski, could be Buddy Hield. I know we just talked about him, and Steve Kerr did more specifically, talked about him being the sixth man. I wouldn't hate him being the starting shooting guard. Steve Kerr's got a lot of problems on his hand. They're good problems. Strength in numbers. It's back, baby. Thank you to everyone for joining the program tonight. As always, tomorrow at 3 p.m., Sophia Jones. Tuesday night, Larry Kruger and I handling postgame live right here. Come join the party. Until then, be excited, folks. Your Warriors. There might be something here. Jonathan Kuminga's shooting the ball. Moses Moody took a leap. Brandon Podziemski, still a work in progress, but Trayce Jackson-Davis looks real. These new free agents look real. There's something good in the water, folks. Be happy. Be excited. If you're optimistic, justifiable. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.